what I'll do, start recording again, just so I can share that video with everybody once we're done. But number one, the guy on your screen that you may or may not recognize with the full head of hair is a really, really, really amazing rock star in the real estate world. Jimmy Burgess, BHHS Florida Properties. Dude, thank you so very much for coming in and sharing some stuff with us on a Friday. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I mean, first off, y'all, you know, I've been in an accountability group with Richard for a little while, and we got to Nashville. And I was like, he was sitting down when I walked up, and then he stood up and he just kept going. I was like, what in the world? You know, I mean, how tall is this guy, you know? So, yeah.
I'm a lot bigger in person.
I mean, apparently, and I'm, you know, not, you know, so that's, you know, it works both ways. But so just to kind of give you guys a little bit of background on me, I've been in sales for 25 years with real estate. Kind of grew up in it. My family was both, when my parents got divorced, they both opened real estate companies. It's like I couldn't get away from it, you know. And so literally, you know, I've kind of joked about it. I don't know when it happened that I became the old guy that's got 25 years experience, you know, and just basically it's all I've ever known, and been through some downturns, hence the hair probably, you know. I mean, we've been through 3 different cycles now. And so some of the stuff we're dealing with now, it's different, but it's the same. I mean, and so what we really tried to focus on, about 1.5 years ago, I shifted into this position where I help our agents build their businesses, just be a second set of eyes. Hopefully some of the pains and some of the things that I went through are not as, they didn't go in vain. Maybe I can share some things that I saw and some of the things that worked and some of the things that didn't. So when Richard and I were talking yesterday, really kind of, I think best thing that I can do today, I just want to give you basically what we talked about in our sales meeting this week on what we're really focused on, because to be perfectly frank, every single time there's been a market shift in my business, there's people that look for opportunities and there's people that look for obstacles. And the people, and in reality, ultimately, there's a part of just the natural process where we're seeing the obstacles, but there has to come a point where we get to the opportunities and we begin to see those. And for me, every single time, and listen, I'm not telling you anything out of experience. I'll be completely transparent with you. 2005, selling real estate when the market was on fire down here, and I'm in the Panhandle, you know, between Destin and Panama City at 30A area. And when you know, I made over $1 million selling real estate in 2005. Everything's going great. And then in 2009, I'm sitting in bankruptcy court with $500 to my name. So there's this understanding that I feel like I have, that there's decisions we're going to make in the middle of this that are either going to help us propel us going forward, or that are going to give us to a place where we struggle. And I'll be honest, I've done both. It took me 3 years during that time to sit there and complain and look at the obstacles and think about the things that were not the same, that had changed, that it was so easy before, or whatever it was. And when I finally got to the place where I realized that if things were going to change for me, I had to change them from the inside. It was my mindset. And I had to start looking for the opportunities. The second that I did that, y'all, things began to turn around. And so what I want to do today is I got back to the basics. You know, what got my business started and started skyrocketing, to be perfectly frank, is that I got to a place where I just started understanding that it wasn't even about me. It was about figuring out, you know, it's the old, I mean, some of y'all maybe have heard, you know, the old Zig Ziglar saying back in the day. He used to say, you know, if you would just help enough other people get what they want, you have everything that you want. That's what happened for me when I began to focus on what were the needs of my clients, what were their pain points, and I began to provide that. All of a sudden things began to change. What happened, to be perfectly frank, just being transparent, is there was some point in 2004, 2005, after you start making all these things, where I shifted my mentality and it became about me. I'm just being real. I mean, I got to a point where I was like, I lost my focus on others. And sometimes we need these jarring events like we've had to make us realize what's truly important. I don't know about y'all, but I mean, I've spent more time with my family over the last 6 weeks, and we've had more family dinners than we've ever. I mean, it's been great for me personally. You know, I'm trying to look at these opportunities. I mean, I've realized what's truly important, the people that are important, the things that are important. It's given me some time to focus on those things. And so, you know, when I'm coming to you today, I'm not coming from a place of things that I think, you know what I mean? It's not theory. I mean, you can't, y'all can tell because y'all are from up there, but with my accent, nobody's going to confuse me for a professor. You know what I mean? This is not, you know, I'm not going to talk about theory. I'm going to try to share with y'all some things that worked for me that hopefully if you apply them, you know, that they'll work for you. I really developed this little plan basically for me. And I called it my 3x5 program because I was old school, y'all. I mean, I had a little card deck that was 3x5 cards. I had all my details on there, about individuals and everything. And what I'm seeing now is that as we're continuing to have more and more technology, really it just comes back to those relationships still. So what I want to do, I want to share with you kind of these 3 things on a daily basis you can do. And then I want to talk about some practical things we can do right now to be able to do some of these things. But basically, I called it my 3 F's. And really what it is on a daily basis, I want to do 3 things. I want to make sure I touch 3 areas of my business. I want to do foundational business activities. This is our calls to our current clients, our listings, people that are ready to buy, people that are in the market. These are, active transactions, whatever it is. That's the first thing. You got to do your foundational activities on a daily basis. You got to just build your foundational business. The next thing is to make sure that you're nurturing future business. Now, these are the people that maybe you've had, that you've talked to that said they're possibly going to buy or sell in the next year. These are the people that you're doing what I call unsolicited CMAs for, to keep them up to date on what's going on in the market, providing them updates on sales and active listings and pending contracts in their neighborhood. These are those future business activities where we're making sure we're doing our foundational, the things we got to do today, but we're also doing the things that are intermediate term, so that we don't, typically in real estate, a lot of people do this. They'll get super busy, have 6 transactions or whatever their number is, 2 transactions, and then they get so busy doing the transactions, they don't do the things for future business, and they ride a roller coaster. Well, this is the way that we want to just make sure that we're just kind of finding that thing where we're doing not just the things that are foundational that we have to do today, but for future business. And then the 3rd F is really probably for the long-term success of your business is the most important. Just make sure that you're focusing on this, because it is ultimately about relationships. Build forever relationships. These are your past clients. These are the people that have sent you business in the past. This is your sphere of influence. These are the people that, as we've had a chance to know, these are the people that are probably going to be the ones that are going to be with you, good or bad. You know what I mean? These are your, as some of my kids try to say these are your ride and dies. I mean, we've all got to have people in our business that really are going to ride with us through different markets. So what are you doing? Are you sending them those thank you notes like we've been talking about? Are you remembering how they sent you a referral last year, and you're reinforcing that by sending them a gift card for something, or something, having some groceries delivered, whatever it is, just some future, not just the future business, but those forever relationships. When we start securing those things, now all of a sudden, now we've got the 3 prongs. We've got a chair that's got 3 legs on it that's going to sit and be strong, and that we're going to be able to build from. Does this make sense, Richard, to you on everything I'm talking about? So, and stop me if I get going, because no, absolutely, roll, I'm ready to go, brother, roll. So, let me go through a couple things that I want to talk about. Just really some things you can do to engage and expand your database today, because I think ultimately what can happen sometimes is that we get in these situations where maybe we've never been in this situation before. I mean, most of us are working from home. And so we're out of sync. We don't have the daily activities we typically do. So I want to just share some things that I know that if you do these things, how can you engage your existing database in a way that's not greasy, it's not salesy, it's just that you're making sure you're adding value, and that they know that you're really focused on them. Ultimately, people they don't care what you know until they know how much you care. And so what we first got to do is make sure we're checking on people. And I want to talk about these, really the 3 ways. I'm going to talk about first on the phone, kind of what we can do to engage our database a couple of different ways. First place I would start is make sure you're calling your past clients and just checking in on them. Just, hey, how are you and the family doing? This could be a simple phone call. Just really, it's not even about real estate. This is talking and just checking on people. As we do that, and I know y'all are probably doing this already, but make sure that there aren't any gaps there. This is me personally, and I'm not even in sales anymore. I shifted into this position a year and a half ago, but I had a past client that I really should have checked on. It was an elderly couple that that I sold the house to. I was out running 2 days ago, and I ran by their house. And as I ran by their house, I saw another company sign in there. The old salesperson in me literally wanted to stop and go kick that sign down. You know what I mean? Just angry, And it wasn't angry at them. It was that, and in the middle of all of this, why didn't I just check on them? I could have referred that to one of our agents. All I had to do is pick up the phone and just say, hey, how y'all doing? Everything going okay? That conversation would have then generated the opportunity for business. Right now, these phone calls, the contacts we're making, to be perfectly frank, they're not business focused. They shouldn't be. They're relationship focused. And by having the relationship, we're going to have all the business we want. Another way is if you've got your database, this is the time to possibly not do it in a bad way, but get you some conversations going, let people raise their hands. You know, slide broadcast is a great tool. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that. I know Richard and I've talked about it, but if you haven't seen that, slidebroadcast.com, let me explain what it basically is. We've all gotten these where we all of a sudden we got a voicemail and we don't know where it came from. You know what I mean? And it's these robocalls. And you're like, where did that? I didn't even hear my phone ring. Well, basically what that is that slide broadcast where basically somebody can record one voicemail and then they can email it out. It costs about 10 cents per drop on a voicemail. Now, I don't think you ought to just overload this, but let's think about this. If you've got a group of clients, past clients, that you can just send this out and say, you know, hey, this is Richard with Berkshire Hathaway. It's been a little while since I talked to you. With all the craziness going on, just checking on a few people, see how you guys are doing. If there's anything at all, any questions I can answer, any way I can help, please just give me a call. Hope you're doing well. You can text me back and give me a call. Just love to hear from you guys. See, we can do that one voicemail that's personalized in a way and drop that to 30 people, and it cuts the time down. And 30 people at 10 cents a drop is $3. You know, it gives us the ability to expand what we're doing. So I would just encourage you, take a look at that tool. You know, you don't want it to be, you know, robotic. It should just be a natural conversation. And literally, the way that I typically do this is I try to record when I'm thinking of recording that. I'm thinking of one person, not a group. So so Richard's my best client, my best friend, I'm calling Richard. I don't say Richard's name, and I say, hey, it's Jimmy. It's been a little while since I checked on you. You know, hope you guys, the family, are doing well. Listen, if there's anything at all I can do, or if you have any questions on what we're seeing out here right now and the craziness that's going on, just give me a call. Love to hear from you. Again, take care of your family. Text or give me a call. Love to hear from you. You know, it's a different thing when you begin to shift it where it's you're talking to your best friend. You know what I mean? It's not a sales call. And that comes across, you know, so make sure that don't just blanket send something out, because that's the worst thing we can do right now. But think about like 10 or 20 of your past clients, or 10 or 20 of the people that are in your database that you can send that out to. You know, I know y'all have a database. Go find the people that have been on your database in the last week, you know, that you can see have been on your site, that are active, and just record one message, you know, to that group and just be like, hey, it's Jimmy. I know that you've been receiving the updates from our website. You know, with all the craziness going on, I just want to check in with you, just see if there's any questions I can answer, any way I can be of service. You know, just you can text me back and give me a call. Take care of your family. Talk to you soon. You know, that kind of thing where now we've taken our database and we're shooting with a rifle. We've taken those people that have been on the site, that have been visiting and you know, are looking, because y'all can see that kind of stuff. And now we're shooting with the rifle there, and we're making sure we're adding value to the right people. Second thing is to make contact with people via text. And I would say this, I don't know how much you guys are out and about, but, you know, for me, you know, if I've got a targeted neighborhood or you've got a farm, a great way to do this is hey, I was out walking or I was out with the family and I happened to come by your house. Shoot a little quick video text on your phone, in your car, out in front of their house. Hey, I was out and about, drove by your house and thought of you guys. I know that's not the time for me to run up and just knock on the door. So I just wanted you guys to know that I was thinking about you. If there's anything I can do for you guys, any way I can be of service, just let me know. Send that text to those past clients. Just take a day and get in your car. You don't even have to roll the window down, you know, and just pull up in front of their house where they can see their house in the background, you know, and send them that text. I promise you, you're going to get some engagement. You're going to get an opportunity. That's a great way to really make that connection in a way. Also, you know, if you've got some of the ability, which I believe, Richard, y'all do with the group text type of deal, you know, a great text and where we're getting, and you don't want to send this out to a ton of people because you won't get engagement, is to just simply send a text to those people that are in your database that have been on your site and just simply say, you know, hey, this is Jimmy with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. I know you've been getting the updates on the website. Hope you and the family are doing well. Listen, if there's any questions I can answer, any way I can help, please don't hesitate to text me back or give me a call. And then just send that out to a group. You know, and I believe you've got that where you can code that, Richard, where it's like your first, you know, prospect first name or something like that, or client name. And if you don't worry about it. But if you can personalize it, it's great. You know what I mean, from that standpoint.
Yeah, our CRM enables that. That level of customization is a little bit off, but then also too, what you and I had talked about, the Reach app is a very, very good resource for that as well.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. And that kind of comes back also, you know, from that standpoint, we've talked about phone. We've talked about text. People communicate in different ways. Right now, people are reading emails more than ever because they got more time. You know, most of them are at home. So I would just encourage you, use your email. But what I would be doing right now, you know, today is May 1st. We're in the process as a company right now of looking at the numbers, you know, and being able to give real-time numbers. So today it may be recording your screen. You can do it with Zoom and send them a link to this, you know, or you can do it if you, and we use BombBomb. I use BombBomb, whatever it is that you want to do. Also in the Resource Center, it has it where you can code and send emails that have that in there, which I know Richard knows about. But there's ways to send that, but I would send video emails right now of just, not just you, where they can see you and hear, you know, your personality. What video does is it gives it the ability really for people to kind of, almost a video, what it does is it kind of sorts through people for you. I mean, listen, there's some people that, you know, that I'm just going to rub wrong, and we're just not supposed to work together. You know, I mean, I'll just tell you right now, because we've got some people that have started coming in from Chicago and New York. We just don't jive, you know. I mean, it's sometimes I got some great clients from New Jersey. We did jive. But what video does is it gives me the ability for the people that are, as I call them, my people, that I'm supposed to work with. It gives me the opportunity for them to identify me and vice versa. So I would encourage you, send a video update out at the end of this month and say, hey, here's where we were with pending contracts May 1st last year. This is where we are this year. Here's where we were in closings in April last year. Here's where we were in closings this year. Here's where we were first quarter and the momentum we had versus last year with closings. You know, and this is, you know, it's too early possibly to tell on exactly how this is going to look going forward. But if you'd like for me to keep you up to date on what we see, because it's changing by the hour, please don't hesitate to just email me back and say, hey, make sure you keep me informed. They're going to raise their hand that way. So that's a good way to really reach out to people via email right now. I would also just say this is the time really to expand your database from the standpoint of not in a greasy way, but in a way that really where you're adding value. One of the things that is right now, Sly Broadcast again, you know, if you have a closing right now, which, you know, we have things closing, you know, if you get a new listing right now, if you get something pending right now, now's a great time to go old school circle prospecting. You know what I mean? And basically just pick up the phone, or in reality now with Sly Broadcast, you can take an entire street and you can do the research and get the phone numbers, load those phone numbers up and say, hey, I was just, hey, this is Jimmy Burgess with Berkshire Hathaway. Just want to let you know that we got a house there on your street on Live Oak, you know, under contract this week. You know, despite everything that's going on, the market is active. And if you're curious about, you know, what that thing is, you know, what we had it priced at, or, you know, this new place that's coming on the market, or you have friends that, you know, whatever your messaging is, hey, just want to make sure we let the neighbors know. I hope you're staying safe and healthy. If there's anything at all or any way I can be of service, just let me know. You know, just basically making the messaging where they're going to feel like you're giving them something of value. They want to know that stuff now, you know? And so very segmented, you know, make sure it's personalized where it doesn't feel like you just broadcast this out. Hey, I'm sending this voicemail to everyone in this neighborhood. No, it's like, you know, hey, you know, we just listed a house on your street, you know, right there close to yours, you know, and if you want more information on it, or you have a friend or family member that's thinking about coming in the neighborhood, please let me know. We'd love to get you some additional information if you're interested. If I can help in any way, just let me know. That's a great way right now to make sure, go old school. People want that information right now more than ever. They've got time to think about it, to be perfectly frank. Another great area and way to expand your database right now is, you know, expired listings are very difficult because they're going to get 20 calls the day of. Let me tell you who's really missed a lot of times in the market is people that expired 3 to 12 months ago. What happens with those folks is they fall in the gaps. So they aren't getting the 50 calls they got the first day. Odds are, if they wanted to sell before this, they really want to sell now. And odds are, if they raise their hand and they listed it, it's not a matter of them not wanting to sell. They just find the right agent. And so now's the time to call those folks. And basically, it's pretty simple on those calls to just say, hey, you know, I noticed you had your place for sale 3 months ago. The market's kind of shifting right now. Just want to check in with you and just see if you had any ideas of what you guys were thinking about doing, because we feel like we may have some pent-up demand that once we come out of this, that we may have a little burst here coming up in the next couple of months. Just check in with some people that had their place for sale just to see if you guys have thought about selling it still. Then go from there. That's an easy conversation. They're going to be open to that, and they're not getting 50 calls. So you can go into your MLS, you can look and pull up, expired listings for 12 months to 3 months ago. Then you go in and you make sure they haven't sold or they haven't relisted, and you get your target list and you make those calls to those folks. I promise you those folks are hungry for information, especially if now you can come to them with the information we were just talking about that, listen, here's what's really going on in the market. First quarter, this is what we saw numbers wise. Here's what we saw in April. Here's what we have pending now versus last year. Now you got something of value. And then the last thing I would say, and then I'm going to be quiet because I feel like I'm just coming at y'all. I didn't mean to. But I got my Richard. You're muted. Yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback on one thing that you just hit on, and I think it's an exceptional point. It's not the expireds from 2 weeks ago. It's the expireds from 3 to 6 to 8 months ago that are now all of a sudden really having to come to grips with whatever it was that motivation that originally wanted them to sell. And another piece to that is too that oftentimes gets left in the couch cushions is, what about the withdrawns from January of this year till right about the time all the goofiness happened, right? So, any withdrawn in an area that you want to do business in from the beginning of January to, let's say, the beginning of March, that's another piece where who knows why they pulled it off, or even the most recent withdrawns. Why did they pull it off? Maybe it's just because they had an agent that was like, you guys need to take it off the market and we'll have it kind of simmer down and then we'll get it back on. But that person might not have had their best interest at heart. They just didn't want their sign to sit there and have the listing that they had go stale. So that's another touch piece that could just be like Jimmy's been talking about, empathetic. Like, let's figure out what's up.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. And I think if you go into it from a standpoint with that group and just saying, hey, just checking in with some folks, there's some fresh information we got with it being the first day of the month. Today's a great day, to do that and just say, hey, if you're curious, I can give you the numbers on exactly where the market is right now. Not on your value. I can do that if you want me to, but reality, I think you just need to kind of know where the market is. And then that way, my job is to give you the best information possible, make the best decision possible for you. I just think now is a time where if you give, you're going to get. And it may be tomorrow, it may be 6 months, but people aren't going to forget what you do right now. In my opinion, we've got an opportunity right now that if we add the value right now, what could have taken us years to do, we can do in months as far as business growth, because the ability to add value. If I would have told you in January that we would have been sitting here and we'd have said, okay, well, listen, we're probably going to have a couple, 3 months, possibly 3 months, where we're going to have less than transactions we had last year, but 50% of your competition is just going to quit. They're just going to freeze. They're not going to do anything. We would have been doing cartwheels for that opportunity. I was on a call last week with CEO for Boomtown, and he was telling me that he looked at March versus April with interactions with the clients and the leads that are in there. So basically, this is the consumer's activity level. The difference between what they did in March and February was that the views of properties was down 1.6%. Pretty standard month to month. That's not out of the ordinary. The engagement by agents, so you got to understand with Boomtown, people paying tens of thousands of dollars to use Boomtown. So it's typically people that are very serious, some of the best of the best in the business. The engagement with clients from agents and their activity levels with their CRM for the top and best agents in the country was down 19.7% month over month. Now, if 19.7% of the best agents in the country are slowed down on what they're doing and not giving the value to their clients, what's happening to the average agent out there? They're doing nothing because they don't know what to do. And in reality, you don't need to know what to do. You just need to be empathetic and just say, is there anything I can do to help? And when we do that, it creates the conversation and the relationship. I'll tell you this right now. I just truly believe it because I've been through this before. I've been here where I was the agent that was frozen and didn't do anything and watched my business, literally watched myself go into bankruptcy, drive my family into bankruptcy because I was afraid to pick up the phone and add value to people. And then I've also been on the other side of it when we had the oil spill down here, where when these things happened, I knew it wasn't about me giving them good news, bad news. It was about me just being there and giving them news. And all of a sudden there, when we had that, I gained market share through that when everybody else was retreating. Now's the opportunity in reality to add more value than you've ever added. And I'll just be perfectly frank. people know whether you're coming at it from a standpoint where you want to add value to them or if you're just trying to get more business. And when you can get the shift internally that you're doing this to help other people, I promise you the rest of it, it's going to take care of itself. All of it will take care of itself. One thing that I did right before I shifted out of this, I'm going to end with this if you don't mind, Richard, but basically, you know, if I can do anything, but right before I got out of the sales side, my last true quarter or last year in business was 2018. And I made I had my team and, you know, and literally, I mean, and we did a lot of business. I mean, you know, we did almost $30 million my last year in the business with my team. But one of the things that I tried to focus on is I wanted to figure out, okay, last quarter, and I think this is great. Today's the first part of the second quarter. It was a great time to start this. I took that quarter and I said, every day that I work, I'm going to do one unsolicited CMA to one of my past clients or somebody that I've met at open house or somebody that's said they may sell in the next 3 to 4 years. And what I mean by an unsolicited CMA is I recorded my screen. And Richard, if you need this, I'll send you a link.
This is great. Send me that. I was actually going to ask if you wouldn't mind doing this because this is y'all listen to this. This is
yeah.
gold.
So what I did is I'll just, you know, I basically worked 72 days that last quarter. You know, you had Christmas and holidays and weekends and all that stuff. And, you know, I mean, that sounds like, you know, I mean, to be perfectly frank, that was a lot for me back in those days, but, you know, to take off 18 days out of 90, but it was the holidays. So every day I came in, I made sure that I did one unsolicited CMA. I recorded my screen. Richard will send this to you if you want it. I basically had all the comparables there. I had myself in the corner. And I did a 5 to 10 minute rough draft idea of where their value was. Past sellers, past buyers, people I knew that owned, people that had mentioned they might sell. I didn't ask for any business. I just said, hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. What I want to do is give you an update on where we see a rough estimate of your value. Listen, this is going to be an estimate because I haven't been in the house in a little bit, possibly. So if you've done any upgrades or anything that's gone on, then obviously it can affect this, or if there's been some deferred maintenance. But I want to give you a range of where your value is. If you want me to, I'll be glad to get a little tighter value if you're curious about exactly what it would bring right now. I did 72 of them. Over the next, I shifted out of that position in May the next year. From that time period that I started, October 1st, to the end of that year, I did 72 unsolicited CMAs for past buyers or for people that had mentioned that. Out of that group, I listed $11.1 million and I sold $9.2 million from those listings. Now, what you've got to understand here is some of those were I listed and then I sold. So it was 9, and listen, my average it was high, I get it, you know, but even if it's half, when I broke it down, every single one of those that I did, 72 of them, every time I did one, it was worth $3,600. And it took me less than 30 minutes, 40 minutes that every day to do one. And so what I would encourage you to do is find something that's systematic. For me, it was that. And it's a way that I was just adding value. And I wasn't even looking for anything. But when you really start adding value, I promise you it circles back. And that doesn't even take into account. Some of these folks sent me, and I really would love to delve into this. Some of those folks sent me referrals. They're like, man, I don't know. You need to talk to Jimmy about this. He sent me this. You know, those are the things that we can do where we start creating some momentum in a positive way where it just creates it, where it's just magnetic for people to come and be a part of your business. But that's kind of right now, if I could tell you to do one thing, especially the second quarter, just wake up and remember one seller, remember one person that owns a place, and just send them an updated valuation. All I did was and I used Google Earth because, you know, I'm trying to be that high-tech redneck, you know what I mean, where it would just kind of like zoom in on their house, you know, and then they were like, whoa, and I'm like, I can't do that, but it did that, and then I had the comparable sales up there. I didn't have to remember it. I just walked through and said, this one's the closest one to yours and this. And then I did average square foot price. Your house is this size. Again, this is real rough, but it's in this range. If you want to know exactly, and just let me know and I'll come look at it, or we can talk about it. I can tell you exactly what it'll bring right now. That's all I did. And that just generated a ton of business. So anyway, Richard, I don't know if you want me to go through anything else or if there's anything else I can do or at all.
I'm going to open up for anybody with questions right now. JD, Lindsay, Taylor, Ashley, anybody. I know that I've seen a couple people hop off. I'm hoping that was to take calls, but anybody, I'm going to open up the floor for questions here for just a second, and then we can wrap up, okay? Not all at once.
Oh, we got it.
JD's not on video, so that's a bad sign.
I want to say thank you for some of those tips, and it's just a good reminder. And like you said, trying to kind of figure out now, and I feel like I've been doing this for a while too. And I was in here during the recession, that old school, I've been reaching out and touching base with people, but the video part is huge. And that's one of the things I've been working on, because I hate looking at myself. I really want to be that person that has cleared her screen. But so hearing you say that and being reminded, it's huge, because that's what people want to see. And if you can give them any type of value, they're going to respond. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Lindsay, what you worried about? I mean, look at me and look at you. I mean, come on, literally, listen, if anybody, exhibit A, you know what I mean? If I can do this, surely, you can. And we're always more critical about ourselves.
That is true. That is true. But you're good. Like, you engage people with your animation and just your personality. You can see that. So having that come through, we're all critical of ourselves.
Yeah. But listen, the people know us too. You know what I mean? Especially these, and I'll be perfectly frank, some of the times I knew that because I was passionate, I was going to turn some people off. I'll be perfectly frank. Sometimes it was the great filter. Those are people that it was going to be a difficult transaction, or it was going to be a bad relationship from the start. And the quicker they can understand me and I can understand them, the quicker we can both make decisions on maybe not. You know what I mean? So to me, more than ever before, if you were going to practice and learn one skill in the next 90 days, I would shoot video all day, every day. I would just get comfortable with the camera. I would get comfortable doing this type of stuff. We've been forced to, but your ability right now to be able to get your message out, we've never had the ability. Literally with Facebook, y'all, right now, literally, we can literally get up in their kitchen. I'm talking about like we can drop it in their kitchen, literally. You know what I mean? We can, with social media. We've never had that capability. Some of the stuff we're doing with AdWorks, where we can just really literally take a neighborhood, you know what I mean, and just drop it right in there. And some of the stuff that's coming with AdWorks that I'm hearing from the brand. It's a time where literally we've never had the opportunity to spread our message of encouragement, spread our message of being a resource like never before. And so, Lindsay, I would encourage you just to keep, to do the video stuff. If you've been doing this a while, you've got a group of people that know, like, and trust you already, and most of us know what to do. What's the old saying? I can't remember who quoted the quote, but it's like, most people don't need to be told what to do. They just need to be reminded. We all kind of know what to do. We just need to make sure that we're at a place where we're being reminded, hey, just don't forget to add value. Hey, just don't forget to be authentic. Hey, just don't forget to be a real person and not trying to, I was trained, I was trained. It was that if they say this, then you say that. If they do this, then you, and it's just tired. The old sales, all ABC, always be closing. Man, I smell that out. It turns me off. I can't imagine what it does to other people. I just want to just be real. The true leaders and the people, in my opinion, that are going to grow businesses and not just have transactions. Because listen, you can do transactions that way. And transactions, and you can see people, y'all probably see them. There's probably people in y'all's market that you're like, why are they doing so much business? They're just jerks. Transaction focus can be leading in the first quarter, in the second quarter, but it's relationships that win the game in the fourth quarter. And so that's the thing to really focus on, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm gonna back up off this caffeine.
I think that makes and you make an exceptional point too, Jimmy. And I was having a conversation with an agent yesterday that is newer in the business and still trying to grow their sphere, but not necessarily the sphere of influence, and is calling on doing some of the activities that we're talking about, but still felt like, what should I be saying? And I said, your head and your heart are supposed to be in a straight line. And right now I'm feeling like they're in two different directions right now. You're feeling like I'm a salesperson. Well, guess what comes out of you? It's the whole thing. Like, what happens when you get squeezed? When you squeeze an orange, apple juice doesn't come out of it. And if that does happen, everybody's going to go, oh, something's up with this orange. Right. And, it doesn't have to be sales right now. It shouldn't be. It needs to be, I'm a human being, you're a human being, I've got a job to do, you got a job to do, hopefully. But at the bare minimum, it's time for us to connect with our people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I cannot thank you enough for spending some time with us this morning, Jimmy. I really, really appreciate it. Even, especially the fact that you've got to deal with Central Time Zone, and we're over here lollygagging at 10:30, and you're up doing it.
Man, what's the new world like where we're talking about 9:30 being like I'm up and at 'em? You know what I mean? I mean, when did that happen?
I had a Zoom call with an agent the other day that it was like I can't put it on video. I can't put it on video. And I'm like, why? Why can't you put it on video? I don't want you to see that I'm still in the bed. I said, get out of bed and put on the video.
That's right. I know.
Well, Jimmy, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Really
Hey, listen, any of y'all get down this way, Panhandle, Florida, look me up. I'd love to catch up when you're down here. I mean, obviously we got some gorgeous, they opened our beaches this morning. I've already been on the beach this morning. It is gorgeous. Yeah. I mean, it is gorgeous. So this too shall pass, right? We're going to get back to some normalcy. People need us more than ever before right now. So it's an exciting time for those of us that look for those opportunities to add value.
That's right. Look for opportunities to add value. Couldn't have said it better myself. Oh, and JD actually did give me the actual reason her kittens were having a wrestling match in the back. That's why she turned her video off. So, all right, I'll forgive you for this one. Jimmy, you rock, man. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Y'all have a great Friday, rest of the weekend. Jimmy, I owe you 10, not 1.
All right. I got you. All right. Okay. Thanks, y'all.
And I know you won't forget. That's why.
No, I won't. I promise you. I love it.
Thanks, buddy.
Love having that.
See y'all.